Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're connecting from. I'm excited to be on this show today, making a difference to Sandra Uko. Some of your destination errors. I think I have some technical issues, but I'll just go on. We just go on. Yeah. But we just go on. I had some technical issues before joining, but we still go on. Thank you so much for being on this show. I want to thank our guests and our viewers. If this is your first time, please kindly let us know where you're connecting from, your location, and your name. And if this has been a blessing to you, where we bring people to share their great stories, how they've been from zero to become an hero. They've gone from very low, and today they're success in their chosen field and they are living a life of significance. So we bring great minds so that we can glean from them. And today we have no other person than our great guest. Her name is Mia Brinson. But before I bring her on board, I'd like to introduce myself and introduce what the show is all about. Just a moment. My name is Sandra Uko. I'm a Maxwell Leadership Certified Team Member, Coach, Speaker, and Trainer, a member of the Toastmaster, a best-selling author, and an IT salesperson. And when we say making a difference with Sandra Uko, we look for great minds, men and women who are making a difference in their world. Men and women who have gone just been living a life of survival or living a life of being a success in their chosen field, but people who are now living a life of significance, those who are giving back, those who are finding ways to be of impact to their community. And today we have a great guest with us. But before we bring her on board, I'd like to read our bow before inviting her on stage. So great to have you on this show today, and I'm sure you're all ready to get inspired by our guest. Abel says she Mia Brinson started in corporate America with the thought that she would work hard and would climb the ladder in the corporate world. But she was thrilled to be here, but then slowly learned that getting a foot in the door wasn't enough. Hard work alone wasn't going to be enough for her, and she had to learn the secrets of navigating the corporate battlefield and landscape. She realized that she needed to take control of her career, and over the last 8 years of her 20 years career, she has helped others to do the same. She has helped businesses and individuals from different industries like the healthcare, sports, entertainment, government, diversity and inclusion consulting, and more. And as a performance coach, she has helped high achievers maximize their potential, navigate complex situations by providing tools and strategies that empowers them to own their future. And that's so awesome. So we're excited to have Mia herself joining us on this show today. I'm excited. Hey, you're welcome. So glad
Oh,
to have you.
hi,
I'm so
Sandra.
excited. I'm happy. Go, yeah. With all the technical issues, we still made it.
I know it must be meant to be because you've had technical issues. I've had technical issues, but we're here to serve the community.
Yeah. So glad to have you. And I just read your resume. And I want you to tell me maybe there's something I didn't mention in the resume you probably want to touch before we go into drill. I know you're on the hot seat to tell us what you've been doing in your community, in your world, to making a difference as in impacting lives around you. The floor is all yours.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you again for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I am Mia Brinson. Like Sandra, I am also a certified coach, trainer, and speaker through the Maxwell Leadership Team. But also, I am a consultant, and so I help with healthcare organizations right now, and I'm also helping with business strategists. So I think that's the only thing that was left out of my bio. So I have an executive performance coaching where I do help the high achievers achieve their next level. But I'm also doing business strategy where I'm helping the small business owners really create efficiencies for their services and for their businesses. So what that looks like is creating structures, processes, standard operating procedures, training for their staff, also just coaching the leaders to be better and to make a bigger impact on really executing on their ultimate vision of being free in their business and not working in their business. So just really really excited about all the things I have going on right now with the business strategy, with coaching individuals, and with consulting. It's been so much fun.
It is. It is. And that's exciting to know. So when you speak about having tools to run, what kind of applications you use? Any software, any technology?
No, it's not necessarily about technology as much as it is about tools to navigate complex situations, right? So for me, it's less about physically what I can give you, but emotionally, how can I equip you and give you the tools that you need to navigate complex situations? So, how do I think through a situation? How do I unfold and remove my emotions from a situation and really make a decision based on data and what's best for my business? How do I get unstuck and quit the cycles that continue to plague me when situations arise or when hard conversations or when conflict arises? So the tools are really about step by step guides to give them, to help them have the tough conversations, to help them look at the process in a different way, to help them actually see what they couldn't see before. So it is a customized thing that I do with each of my clients, depending on where they are, what the needs are, which is why it's really good to have the coaches. So it's not this generic thing that is provided that anyone can use, but it's something customized to your situation, customized to your issues, and customized to where you are and what your needs are at that time. So it's really the tools and the techniques and the strategies are based on that. And then along with that, it's really like a roadmap. So I'll give you an example. I have a client that had a tendency of getting stuck. And what we realized is one of her ways that she continued to get stuck and she started overthinking a lot, which would create a pattern for her to not move forward. And so in our strategy sessions, we talked about, okay, why do you start overthinking? Well, it's because I don't have enough information, or it's because I don't think I'm good enough, and it's because I don't think that I am really the person for the job. Okay, so then as we unpack that, we really just dove into like, what are some of the things, like when this comes up, what can you do? What can you say? What affirmations can you give yourself to continue to overcome that? And so literally gave her a strategic book and said, these are the patterns that we've seen throughout your coaching, and these are the pitfalls that you run into. And so here now is a roadmap so that when that does come up again, here's what you said you would do to overcome that thing every time it rises in you. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. That's like having an SOP, a standard means
Yes.
of operation.
A
Like
personal
you have a
SOP.
book, like a manual.
Yes. I love the way you said that, Sandra. I didn't think about it that way. That's a really
Yeah,
good way to
because it's
put
like
it.
a guide for the business. Such
Yes.
that if you have anyone coming to the establishment and the person is managing your business, so in your absence, when they have a crossroad where they have such similar issues, they can quickly check in the book. Just, okay, what do I do next? Or what is expected of me to do to tackle this problem or this situation?
Yes. That's exactly what we give them. And it's amazing to see how many people haven't been able to just like uncover those patterns. And so that's the benefit of having a coach or having someone on the outside listen to you week over week, listen to like how you process things, analyze how you think about things so that you can actually get that objective view and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was doing that. Like, every time I hit this, every time this question came up, when someone's like, are you really the person? Then I second guess myself. Then I
Okay.
start thinking, I don't know if I am. But it's like, but why? We were moving forward this way. So yeah, no, that's great. So just personal SOPs, and then also, within the businesses, we are creating those SOPs also to keep their business moving forward.
Sure, that's a great one. Yes, after reading your bio, I think I was thrilled, and the reason I want to find out, how did you start in the corporate America?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was really easy because, after college, the next thing to do was to get a job, you
Yeah.
know? So I did the natural thing of just starting to apply for different jobs. I applied, right after September 11th, which was a great event here.
Yeah,
Um,
very grateful.
Yes, yes. So the job market was really tough, but I ended up landing a job with American Express. Was my first job and my first corporate, experience, and it gave me every bit of the corporate experience. So it was tough. It was tough because I moved away from my family to start my career. I moved and I was by myself, building a future, building a new community of friends in a whole nother state, thousands of miles away from my family, as well as, navigating this new culture that none of my family had language for. None of my family could help me, understand what was really going on, what people were really saying, or what things really meant. So I learned a lot. And so I'm just laughing because you lived it, I'm sure. Like, you learn a lot, like, oh, okay, well, this is what we said in the meeting, but that's not really what it meant. And so, or you're thinking that, oh, I'm doing a really good job, but then, there's conversations otherwise that says that you're not. And so there was a lot of different things to like learn and understand in the corporate world that is not, overt, right? A lot of those things happen outside of the boardrooms. A lot of those things happen in the hallways, at dinners that you're not invited to, at lunches, with their business colleagues that you're not there at the table. And so it's like understanding that language, understanding how to navigate, understanding how to network was really, really important for my success.
That's awesome. Yeah, just beyond that, getting in. It's yours, just you alone, paddling the canoe.
Yeah, me alone.
Yeah. So, but you said, what made you stood out? And how did you climb that ladder? Because you told me you did some things, but I would like to know, and I want my audience to also learn from you. What made you stood out when you were in corporate America? And how did you climb the ladder to become a success there?
Yeah, there were several things that I had to do. I think one of the main things I had to do was understand that it's not personal. Um, it feels completely personal because it's your life, it's your livelihood. But understand it's just strategy. And so once I like took my emotions out of it and was able to kind of tap into the strategy and how to strategize, and understand that my work was not the only thing that was going to speak for me. See, when we're in school, all we have to do is get A's and then that's okay. But when you're in corporate America, you could do a good job. They'll pat you on the back and they'll still promote the person next to you. So what I had to do was understand, how do I really position myself for promotion? How do I really position myself that my name is coming out of other people's mouths? And so what I had to do was get strategic and get mentors. And so what helped me was getting mentors within my particular company and then within my industry. So that means not just anybody, right? Not just the person that you like, but a person with influence, a
Yes,
person.
somebody who can speak for you.
Yes, that's right. Someone that can speak for you when you're not in the room. Someone that is a decision maker, right?
Yeah.
Someone that they look to when decisions are being made. And so I was strategic in making those relationships genuinely, but making those relationships and those connections so that when my name did come up, there was only good things to say. And then I think that's the last thing is really accepting feedback, right? So accepting what people said and just not saying, oh, that wasn't me, or you just think this because you just like this person and blah 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 blah. No, you got to take that stuff, swallow it, figure it out. And even if it
Yeah.
is perception, you have to work to change the perception. And so that's what I did. I worked to change the perception of people. I came to the room and I let them know that I was in the room. I used to shy away and sit in the back and be quiet, but that is not going to get you promoted. They want to
Yeah.
know that a leader can stand in the room and that a leader has something to say that people would be willing to follow. So I think those are just some of the key things that I had to change. You know, I was the quiet one in the room in the back because that's how I was raised. You know, when I call on you is when you speak. You don't speak other than that. And
Yeah.
so I was like, that does not work in the corporate sector. You
You
got
can
to
be
speak.
quiet.
You cannot be
You
quiet.
have to speak out.
You have to speak or they will overlook you. They will steal your ideas. They will take the
No,
things that you work for.
even beyond that, if you don't speak out, they feel that you do not know anything. You can
Correct.
use your initiative. But when
Yes.
you speak out, you have a voice, you have a
Yes.
mindset, you have something to say.
Yes. And
Because
that's
when
what they
you're looking
want
for
to know.
people to lay off, you are one of those people that would ask to go because like he's not even useful here. He doesn't
Right.
even contribute. He doesn't.
Right.
We don't feel his pulse.
Right. And they got to know that you really enjoy the company, right? They got to know that you have a voice, you have an opinion, you have something to put on the table to offer. You have ideas, you're innovative. And unless you open your mouth, people are not going to know that. And you can't just do the work and let that speak for you. You're going to have to explain the idea. You're gonna have to be able to explain it in the hallway and just just want to run this by you. You got to think outside of the box, think ahead, and be proactive. And as you use your voice, people can see that you're demonstrating that you're really able to do those things that you say you're doing.
And that's true. So that means being quiet wouldn't pay you at the workplace. You must be able to, and that's one of the reasons that you have to be a great communicator. You must communicate.
Yes, yes, you must communicate. And I think for me that was one of the hardest things to overcome, is that communication piece, because I did such excellent work. Everyone said I did excellent work, and so I thought that was good enough. And I thought it was good enough for people to speak on my behalf, but people need to hear your voice.
Yeah,
People need to hear what you have to say.
you said it all. I think that's a voice, that's a message for everyone who seems to be quiet or sitting in office board and doesn't contribute. Nobody gets to hear your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gets to know or know anything of you, even if you have great ideas. You must
Right.
learn to communicate. And that's why this book by John Maxwell, I think everyone communicates, but very
Yes.
few are connecting. So we
Yeah.
must learn to communicate and be a great communicator. People must hear
Mm-hmm.
our voice. So I also want to find out, when did you realize that getting your feet at the door was okay? You said it already. Getting your feet at the door wasn't just enough. Beyond the hard work, you had to navigate the battlefield and the landscape in the corporate world. And that's by speaking and looking for mentors within the organization who can be there for you, who can speak on your behalf when you're not in the room. That's
I do
awesome.
have an example towards that though, Sandra. And I think it for me was when I was overlooked for promotion. That was the slap in the face, where it was just
Hmm.
like, oh, like I did all the work, yet this person is getting promoted. Something was not connecting for me. And My boss would tell me, you're doing such a great job. So then why am I not considered for this promotion? So that was when I understood that, like, oh, the game is so much deeper. It's not about,
It's not about the artwork. It's about you getting to speak for yourself and sell what you have done.
that's right. You got to be your own brand. And I understood that becoming a brand in corporate America was just as important as it is in the streets, right? Your reputation has to speak in excellence. And so for me, I went around, honey, like, planting different seeds in different departments so that whomever, whatever department meeting they're in, they'd be like, oh, but Mia does great work. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So I went
you
on a
have to be your.
campaign.
That's awesome. That automatically means you've got to be able to sell yourself.
That's
You
it.
are your number one cheerleader. No one is
Yeah,
going to cheer you, even if they do cheer you. It's not like you speaking for yourself and selling yourself. Because
that's
you need
right.
to sell yourself to the organization. You need to let them know that you're doing a great job. Not just,
Right.
your boss telling you you're doing a great job. And when promotion comes, they pass
Right.
you by and they give it to somebody else.
That's right. They will. They
So you
definitely will.
must be your praise singer. You must sing your praises.
Yes. And I tell my coachees this all the time. I said, you do it even if your voice shakes, even if you're sweating in your pits, even if you skip over your words, because you'll get better over time. But
Yeah.
you gotta start doing it at whatever level you're on, right? Whatever comfort level you're on. Because some people are comfortable speaking, some are not. But I'm telling you, even if you have to do it with fear and you're shaking, you need to just do it. So I always tell them that.
But you know that no leader got good by doing anything first the best.
Mm-hmm.
They learned over time, and over time the compounding effect improved. No one got good working as a baby. You
Right,
first part of a crawl, and you try to stumble, try to work as a
right.
toddler, you fall, and they cheer you up to get up. You get up again, you try to work again. But over time, because you get to use yourself, you get to put yourself into use, you get good at doing what you do.
That's right.
Awesome. You get good at doing what you do.
That's
And
right.
that's what the compounding effect is.
That's right.
Small steps over time become bigger steps and better
Yep.
steps.
Yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. What was your drive and passion to taking control of your career and helping others to do the same?
I mean, I think anyone who's probably listening to this, we're all probably the same person in that we're hard workers and we know we're not average people, right?
Yeah.
It's just something that we're born with. We're just not okay with being the status quo. I'm not okay with staying in a job that I don't like. I'm not okay with staying on the same level for year after year after year. I believe in growth. I believe in personal growth and I believe in career growth. And so I think that drive and that passion was just a part of me. It's just a part of my DNA. It's just a part of who I am, that I am not okay with being next year, tomorrow. As a matter of fact, Sandra, when you see me tomorrow, I will be a new person. I
That's
believe in
awesome.
growing every day.
That's awesome.
Yes. So I just think that drive and that passion is something that, has been placed in me. And I know that just what God has put in me is great. And so I just have this personal desire and this passion to just be able to impact my community in a greater way. And I know that you only are able to do that when you have certain level of authority, when you have certain level of status, and when you have certain level of confidence, right? To come
Yeah.
into a room and be able to kind of just speak to what's going on or speak to the future. And so I've always kind of just had that passion and drive. And I think even from like school, like high school, I was always the leader in the high school. I was always the leader of the chapter, the leader of the organization. I've always been that person where I just wanted to help, impact, and assist and move a vision forward. So that's just who I am.
That's awesome. And that's what everyone ought to be. But
Yeah.
we're not all created the same way. So
Yeah.
sometimes we might have to help others to become, their best versions.
Yes.
To get out of their shell, to be
Yeah.
out there. People need to see them. And so even starting off might not be very comfortable for you, but you have to just do it all the same. Do it
Yeah.
while struggling. Do it while wobbling when you're do it while sweating. But you
That's
find
right.
out that after doing this thing over and over, you get good
You
and you get
will.
confident. You get your confidence back.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. There's this other part of your resume that I read that spoke about as a performance coach. You help higher achievers maximize their potential. And you also navigate complex situations by providing tools and strategies that empower people to own their future. Can you please share so that we can learn from you?
Yeah, I think a lot of times when I'm working with people, they are waiting on life to give them what it is they want. They're waiting on the opportunity. They're waiting for something to come to hit them across the head and say, voila, here
I
you
am
go.
here.
Right? And so what I've realized when talking with people is this idea of owning your life, right? So, not just living your life, owning and driving your life and saying, what is it that I want to do? And then how can I take the steps to get to what I need to do? Because what you find in corporate America, a lot of times is they have a path for you, but then they will give you the timeline in which you're going to, move through that path. But what I'm saying is to my clients, what is it that you want to do? Where is it that you want to go? And what is the timeline that you want to move in? That doesn't always have to be within your company. You may need to explore outside of your company. Are you really within your purpose and your passion? How can we pivot you and move you towards your purpose and your passion? What are those things and what do they look like? Let's create a strategy roadmap to get you there. And so I think it's really taking ownership of your life and stop like waiting for this magical thing to take place, but actually saying to myself, these are the things that I want to do, and this is the strategy on how I'm going to get there.
That's awesome. Knowing where you are, knowing where you want to be, and knowing what time do you intend to get there. Then you can come up with strategies and means to stick it. This is the way I want to go. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Knowing, and that's what you call the self-awareness scheme, knowing
Yes.
yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, you can impact others.
Yes. Yes. And most of the people, like, if you don't have a goal, like, you have to really realize, sit back and think about what is it that I really want to do? What is it that makes me happy? What is it that really can drive me, and sometimes that is within your profession, right? Sometimes that's within your company but not within your role. So how do we get you in that role, and sometimes it's just completely outside of your company. And so how do we get you some opportunities? Maybe you could volunteer and do some volunteering so that you can kind of explore what that could feel like and what that could look like. Because sometimes the things we want are things that we think we want. But then when we start doing it and say, I don't know if I can do this every day. So I think it's always good to like, do a day in the life of interview a person. I've told people, look on LinkedIn, identify somebody who has the role that you think you want, reach out to them and see if they'll talk to you for 30 minutes and ask them some questions about their day. There's just so many different ways to connect with people now. to understand like what the day in the life is and that thing that you want to do. So volunteer, reaching out, doing little mock interviews, listening to podcasts. There's so many different ways now. And so to explore and to truly tap into, that passion and that future that you really want to create for yourself.
And that's true. You have to explore. Be sure
Yes.
that's what you want, and you don't do things because others are doing. You have to find out where your strength lies in. What's my passion? What do I love to do? So that when
Hmm.
you get in there, you can give your best.
Yeah, and what I find a lot of time is people count themselves out a lot. Like when I'm talking with people, they're just like, yeah, but for me, no one would listen to me, or no one will want that from me, or I don't think, that worked for them, but I don't see how that could work for me. And it's like, we really have to work to change our mindsets,
Hmm.
to really create the life that we want.
So I think before we go to the next stage, maybe questions or comments, I'd like to just take a water break.
Are you thinking of how to
Okay.
publish your book on Amazon or how to get your published book to become an Amazon bestseller book? Dip Insight Books is the perfect in-between solution in transforming your ideas into a book. We can help you with all the complicated parts of publishing, such as process TO transformation. What we do: full manuscript evaluation, receive quality assurance edit, full copy edit and final proofread to remove spelling and grammar mistakes, oversee your cover design, create your interior layout, publish and distribute your book, lock down your marketing strategy. Ghostwriting, where there is no manuscript. Our goal is to help you publish your book promptly. Contact us today at 404-740-9091. Email us at info@dipinsightworld.com. To start the submission process, check us out at www.books.dipinsightworld.com and submit your details. You can visit our Facebook page at Dip Insight World.
Thank you and welcome back. We went off on when you were talking about mindsets. And this really this resonated with me, having people who have a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Having this mindset that, oh, this is how it's been done. This is how it works. It can be improved on. And you having a growth mindset. You see possibility in everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to look at board. You have to put yourself. Leaders are people who have great mindsets, a growth mindset, ready to grow, ready to improve, ready to try out new things, ready to take risk, ready to explore the world. So
Yeah.
what would you say about that?
I completely agree. And I think that when working with individuals, that if you are in the fixed mindset, it is going to be a uphill battle,
Yeah.
right? Of change. So I think really the people that we attract are those that are in the growth mindset, those that do want something different. I always say that those that, still have something in their belly that says, there's something more that's out there for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to get there, but I know there's something more. Even that little thing is enough to start on a new path of exploring again what that is that I need to do. I think that growth mindset also bothers you in the middle of the night and says, I
Yeah,
can't stay
restless.
here. I can't stay here. I don't
I've
know
got to
what it is,
move
but I
on.
stay here. Yes. So those growth mindset, it speaks, and you know it. And sometimes you may not always know how to put the name to it, but you know that there is something more that you are supposed to contribute to this world, something more that you're put on this earth to do. And so I, love to work with people who want to look beyond just a career and just say, what is it, or how can I make a greater impact within my career? So I love working with people with the growth mindset.
Awesome. That's a great one. A great mindset will get you into opportunities. Sometimes we have people who see opportunities, but because they're not ready to embrace it, it passes
Yeah.
by. So, but if you have a growth mindset, you're ready to take a risk, you're ready to, take a deeper dive, you're ready to give it a try. Let's see how it
Yeah.
works. Let's try. And every time you try it, you just get good. And you find out that there are people who see opportunities and they let it go. But this one, though, a person with a growth mindset sees opportunity and also sees the opportunity. He does
Yeah.
not only see the opportunity, but he gets hold of the opportunity.
Hmm.
Because different, you can see an opportunity and allow it to go. It will
Yeah.
fizzle out. But if you see an opportunity, you must get into it. You must, seize the opportunity to get
Yeah.
into the opportunity.
Hmm.
That's a great word. So I want to find out, when you started your business, were there difficult moments where you had low moment, like where you felt like throwing in a towel and say, I'm done. I have to just move on to something else. Did you have difficult times like that? How did you weather the storm?
My goodness. Yes, 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 and yes. We fall down, but we get up. Yes, I've had many
Yeah.
of those moments. I think a lot of times when those happen to me is because I've not given myself the grace to take a break. So a lot of times this happened when I start getting overwhelmed. I have trigger points now that I know. So it's like when little things start to irritate me, when little things throw my entire day off, like I need a break. And when I don't properly rest and take a break, those are the times I've noticed the most where I want to just be like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. This doesn't make sense for me anymore, or things like that. So I think a lot of times to get through that is the community that you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
I have people in my life who won't let me quit. I have people in my life to remind me of my purpose. I have people in my life that says, "No, ma'am, you can take a break, but you're needed. You're needed on this earth. Your voice is needed, and we're not gonna let you just like stop." So I think for me, community has been that. Rest and relaxation has done that. And then I have a business coach, and so coaches need coaches, and so I have someone that I hold myself accountable to keep me moving forward. And so that's why I always tell people to invest in yourself and get the coach and the training that you need. But that's how I've kind of dug myself out of the hole. I've done it so many times that I'm able to kind of talk myself back into the game when I have taken myself out of the game.
You can take yourself out. That's the one reason I tell people there are three things that makes a man: the book, all the resources that you allow inside of you, the people you stay around with, and the environment you grow. These three things makes a man. If you're exposed to things that are negative minded, you read a lot of negative news, you are going to be negative minded. If you go in an environment where you're abusive, people talk you down, affect your emotions in a negative, you will not grow. And if you're in an environment where you have the wrong set of people, you will not grow. So minding that is key, knowing that you have to get away from such community. Like you rightly said, you've been in the right community, such that when things are not working, they are there to let you know that you are needed. You are important. We appreciate how you're doing. And so that's the kind of environment we all need to be. So, but I'm saying this just in case there are people who are going through such. It is time for you to break out from such. You are called to be your best version. You're called to stand out. You're called to be, to be self-driven. Even if you're not self-driven, find the right set of people who can help you get into your real self, into becoming your best version. And like you said, coaches have coach. Having a mentor, having somebody who is skilled in your chosen area of field, maybe business or something. That's okay. I want this person to mentor me. Somebody you are accountable to. It is
Yeah.
said that if you're not accountable to anyone, you don't grow.
Hmm.
And if you don't make your plans or goals public, you are not accountable to it. So you can decide not to run with it and just keep it beside. But when you make it public, everybody knows, oh, she wants to be this. So you are accountable because people are looking up to you. She said she's going to be a doctor. So we're looking up to her. So that keeps you in check. And that helps you to keep going on. Like, in the Maxwell family, It is said that when you have a goal, just, send it to the Facebook, share with a friend so that you are accountable. So whatever you don't share remains and dies with you.
Hmm. That's really good. I have two things to say. One is failure is not a sign to quit.
Yeah.
So, like you said, be willing to be bad for a little while so that you can learn and that you could grow. So, it's really just a growth opportunity. It is not a sign that I need to stop doing whatever it is I felt like I was supposed to do. It's information that you should carry on to your next thing that you're trying to launch. Number two is sometimes your community that is speaking negative could also be your family. And you need to be able to understand there are certain seasons that your family should not be allowed to infiltrate your smaller circle. What I mean by that is if you continue to be around people who just want to deal with the life that the cards that life has dealt with them, it is going to be easier to get stuck. It's going to be easier to quit in those. If you're surrounded by people, they don't even have to be negative, they can just literally be complacent with where they are in life, with what they have in life, and you know that you're striving for something else. You need to be around people who are striving to be something else as well, because they understand that it's not easy, that there's seasons where it's like go go go, and then there's seasons where it's hard, and but it's just a season and it's just temporary, and they know how to work through it all. So those are just the two other things that I would say has been on my spirit.
That's awesome. I'd like to find out when you had great moments, how did you celebrate them?
Oh, I'm a
Because
big
one word that keeps me going says motivation keeps you going. Discipline keeps you growing. So you need to have the right motivation in your circle so that you can keep going. So how have you managed those times in your life when things got good for you?
um good things are really for me, I love to celebrate, and for me it doesn't have to be really really big. um but I think it's important to acknowledge the time to celebrate. I think a lot of times the small things get overlooked along the way, where
True.
I journal and then I reflect on the day or reflect on the week and say, you know what? Last week that would have stopped me, but this week I was able to keep on going. Good job. Like I just acknowledge that for myself. And I affirm myself and say, good job. Look at that growth you've done, just
Mm.
by looking at my journal and knowing that, man, I don't think that way anymore. Man, I've really, grown and showing that, and I can feel it on the inside that I've grown. So I've been in a season even of just that. But then I just, do the things that I enjoy. I get myself a spa treatment, nails done, take a walk, whatever it is to just acknowledge that job well done. Good for
Good.
you. Go out to dinner with friends, just anything to just say. And my friends love to celebrate too. Like, hey girl, I got a new follower. It could be just something as simple as small as that. And we are like, yes, because we know how hard it is in these streets. So yeah, I think again, back to my community, I let my community know we winning. And so we celebrate together.
Awesome. That's a great word. And before we call it today, I want to say thank you to our audience who are on this show with us. I also want to thank you, our guests, for being on this show. And so before we call it a day, do you have any word you want to say as a last word, just in case we have people who are just joining us? What will be your last words to people to go back with and say, okay, this is what I got from Mia today?
Yeah, I'll just say whatever it is that you're feeling in your spirit, go do it anyway. Do it scared. Do it without all the information. Do it even if your family doesn't support you. If it's in your spirit and if it's on your heart, then you are responsible to give that to the world. And so we're waiting on you.
Awesome. That's a great way to end this today. And Mia, like before we go, I like to just share information. And if you have your information, maybe your social media, you want people to follow you, just in
Yeah.
case people stumble on your show, this live show, they might want to reach out to you. You can often reach out to Mia. She's gonna drop her details at the comment section. And if you can get her, you can get me, and I can get you to Mia. So let me. So, Mia, you want to share something? Your
Yes.
details, maybe in the comment section or something?
Yeah, I'll share it in the comment section and I'll let you know here. My Instagram name is M Brinson 10. That's my Instagram. And then you can find me on Facebook and YouTube at Mia Brinson.
Okay, great. So I want to thank you, viewers, for being on the show. Thank you for your patience and thank you for your support. And also, I want to thank our guests for being on the show. Thank you for making that time out of your busy schedule. I know it was pretty difficult, getting around to get you, but I'm glad we got there eventually and we have the show with all the technical issues, but we got through. So I'm excited. That's
Really?
one thing to celebrate. We are yet together again. So I want to thank everyone and do have a blessed evening. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.